Today I'm sitting down with TV and film exec, 2-time marathon runner, dad to 2, and my husband, Ben Orell. Ben, welcome to DITL.
Good to be here. Excited to be here, Paige. Longtime fan, first time guest.
We're excited to have you. This has been a long time coming. You've been very highly requested from the fans. And today we get to hear your DITL.
Amazing. Excited to be here. Big fan of the show. Big fan of the host.
Love you. Okay, so on DITL, we always start with what time do you wake up and how do you get your day started?
Obviously, the caveat here is you know all the answers to the questions you're about to ask me, but I'm not much of a sleeper. So I'm usually awake before any alarms would go off anyways, but you and I tend to get up around 6 a.m. because you now go to your workout class. So I obviously wake up with you. You are, I'm going to try not to embarrass you, but you are not a quiet waker-upper. So
what do you mean by that?
You tend to, if I get up early, I like to set my things aside and I know I'm going to be in the room once, go to the bathroom, and then you will not hear from me. You tend to move around and you'll always forget something. And so I'm up with you. So we're up at 6 a.m. usually, but obviously lately, you know, we have 2 young kids. So we're usually up a bit before 6 because the older of the 2 tends to come in our room and demand something crazy at 5 in the morning that we always ignore and send him back to bed. So I'm up pretty early. The way I like to get my day going is you usually leave. I tend to get up before everyone else is sort of out of their room most days. And, you know, I brush my teeth. I take some vitamins in the morning. I take a probiotic that you turned me on to.
Specifics. Everyone wants the details.
So I take, like you, I take a seed probiotic in the morning, and I've started taking oil of oregano in the morning, which I don't know if it's helped me or not, but it's good for your immunity apparently. And I've not gotten a cold since I've started that regimen. And then the first thing I like to do in the morning is I'll drink Element, a big glass of ice water with Element in it. And that I think like really wakes me up. We've started, I used to do a pretty involved protein shake, but frankly, I just can't even like stomach it anymore. And that would have collagen in it and creatine and protein powder and, you know, all these flax seeds and chia seeds. And honestly, just lately, I can't even like handle it. It's too heavy for me. So I've really stopped that. And I don't tend to eat until lunchtime. So pretty much just Element and water, and every now and then the occasional chai latte because I don't drink coffee.
The protein shake has also started to gross me out. And like we haven't even talked about this at home.
Yeah.
But like we both have stopped making it. And it's funny because I remember when we started DITL and my team came over to the house to create like a video trailer for the series.
Like a whole walkthrough.
And I remember that we made the protein shake on camera. And afterwards, I was like, oh my God, that was actually disgusting. Like it was so thick. You could barely drink it. Yeah. And like I have worked on my version of the protein shake over the last couple of months.
Yours is different than mine a little bit.
But I recently started making them again, and I was like, this is actually gross. And so I'm trying to figure out.
I kind of feel like we started adding too much, at least for me, I started adding too much into it. So it was really like, I don't know, 10 ingredients, and like some of them like pretty involved. Like we started like colostrum, and you know, we've jumped on that train. And I just feel like it became like this huge milkshake of things, and like texture wise, they don't all work together. And like, it just became too much. And like, I'm not so sure I saw the benefits in the way like a lot of, you know, your guests or, you know, other people that we respect and value their opinion. I'm not so sure even, you know, with a real like 6 or 12 month runway that I saw the benefits like I was allegedly getting. And like, it just became too much work. Like by the time you make it and clean it and, you know, drink the thing. And yeah, so I've just like tried to eat more like chicken or steak when I can. And I feel the same now that I did that, and I've put Diet Coke back in my routine. So I'm really happy with where I'm at.
I feel like if we could figure out like a way to consume all these supplements and powders in a different way outside of a protein shake of like,
Yeah.
could you add certain things to your element and your electrolytes?
Every now and then
You know?
do a scoop of, because the creatine is flavorless and pretty like texture wise pretty innocuous. So I'll put that in with an element when I remember to. But like the problem is I do the element before I work out because it's a great it like is a great thing to like get your muscles going, and then like cognitively I've noticed benefits from that. And then the creatine you're really supposed to do after, I guess, but then I won't have a second one normally. So it's just this puzzle that is shifted around. But like honestly, like I feel like we hit a point where I was just like, I want to simplify my morning a bit because we are so busy in the morning and it's so chaotic. Like, you know, I say this is my normal morning, but also like half the time I don't get to like brush my teeth till 10 a.m. So it's like, you know, I'm doing my best here.
Let's figure that out. We have like 4 jars at Armor at home. We have all this creatine,
much.
all these things. Let's figure out the way to incorporate them the right way.
Yeah. And look, like I'll tell you my morning this morning. I woke up and I did my element. I'm also proud to say I'm on Zepbound, and I've no shame in, I've started taking that as a weight management tool, and that also has limited what I can sort of ingest and sort of stomach literally. So a shake like that has just become really hard for me, especially like in the days following when I do that injection versus, later in the week where it tends to wear off.
Yeah, I've noticed you've been doing a lot of just like simple, like toast in the morning.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I think a lot of the reason I'm here is talking about my running. So a lot of it is also getting carbs in early for me is really important, and having time to digest those and like let my stomach settle before I do a hard run or a long run. So yeah, do you want me to keep going? I'll keep continuing. So I do that. You usually walk in the door around 7:25 from your workout. At that point, I've gotten kids up. I've changed a diaper or two. I've cleaned a butt or two. What have I done? I've made tea for our children, which is their fancy way of saying tea, which is our steamed milk concoction that I don't know how that started, but it's really the bane of my existence. And so I've gotten the kids going. My morning's pretty hectic without you there and sort of juggling them. And in our house, I feel like mornings are the hardest with the kids. I feel like they're better at night generally. Obviously, there's exceptions. So, so I get the kids going. You come in at 7:25. It's then sort of this mad dash to get breakfast on the table, pack backpacks, get lunches made, snacks, waters, sort of a whole checklist. Then we get the kids out the door. As you know, our son Wolf goes to school. Your son Wolf, if you didn't know this, goes to school around the corner. And for now, at least, unfortunately, one of us can walk him there, and that's only like a 8 to 10 minute endeavor. And then Hazel, now that she's in preschool, one of us has to drive her, which is also relatively close. So by 8:30, usually kids are out of the house and we can focus on either getting ready for the day or, I'll do my run or workout then.
Something that I think about a lot is this like resurgence of there being 2 very active parents in a family. And I feel like, I don't know if this was coming out of COVID or what, but I feel very grateful to have a partner who is either like 50-50 or sometimes doing more than even I am. How do you feel about like being so hands-on in all aspects, but like in that morning routine when it is so kind of crazy and the kids, you don't know what mood they're going to wake up in? Like, how do you feel about the co-parenting and roles and responsibilities in the day of?
Yeah. I mean, it's a great question. I think generally, obviously I'm like happy to do it, and it's important to me to be involved in our kids' lives. I think you and I have different pressures on us in our work. I work from home, so there's less of a pressure on me to sort of get out the door in the morning in the same way that like you have to like shower and you have to like get dressed. Whereas like some days, like I don't have to shower, like not that I don't shower every day at least once, but I can push certain things off to sort of make our morning flexible. And like, I'm really happy. I grew up as you know, I grew up in a house where both my parents worked and had really demanding jobs as well. And my dad was a doctor. He's still alive. He's retired. And he was out the door very early. We didn't see him in the morning at all. He was usually, if we were up, it wasn't like he was sitting around for breakfast because he had to be at the hospital or wherever so early. So my mom did a lot of that in the morning, which frankly, I don't know how that was possible with 3 boys. Like looking back on it, I just don't know how that's humanly possible. So to me, it's just like when you have 2 parents that work and really hard jobs, it's just part of it. But I think if there are sources of tension in our relationship or things that with having kids that we've had, sort of fights over the years, it's sort of finding that balance of I tend to get overwhelmed with the kids, as you know, and like sometimes it can be a lot for me. So it's just finding like the rhythm. And you and I think, are really good about making plans and sort of checklists. And we're both sort of that kind of personality where we just tend to like have a system and it works. And the only downside is sometimes, kids grow up and those systems need to change and we're a little slow to sort of adapt to their needs. But it, we're working on it.
Yeah. I mean, I thank you. It's like you push me in my everyday, and like whether it's the early workout or whatever it may be, but it's like you giving me that time in the morning so I can do my thing. Like I recognize the responsibility that you're taking on. Do you feel like that's still working?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think like, first off, like you are deserving of time, and really like, especially like when it comes to weekends, like you tend to do a bit more than I do on weekends with both the kids. Like I'm sort of a mess when it comes to that sometimes, or I can be. And I do think like you are at your best when you get that, like any partner is at their best when they get a break, or they like, you can't be 24/7, 365 days a year. You just can't. So it's important for our relationship and for you to like be able to go work out and take care of yourself and do what you need to do. And the returns on that like are evident, right? Like you are better at being a partner, at being a wife, at being a mother, I'm sure at work, when you've had a chance to take care of yourself as well. And so I much prefer that to the alternative of like you not getting those things and being resentful or not at your best or whatever it may be. So it's a small sacrifice on my part, but like overall we're both benefiting. And obviously it goes without saying, like you reciprocate that, in volume to me. So I'm equally as appreciative. So yeah, I think that's a healthy marriage. You have to do that or else you're in trouble. Like, let's be honest.
Go us.
Go us. Yeah.